Liberty and justice for all.
Call the meeting to order with everyone present. First item on the agenda this morning, Brenda Kreitzer, our county treasurer, took an office update. Morning, Brenda.
Well, I guess I'll read this to you and then just hand it off. I'm making this announcement. I'm happy and sad at the same time. I'll just read it. After careful consideration, I have decided it's time to retire. With this letter, I'm providing my formal notice of retirement, with my last day of employment being January 3rd, 2025. Beginning in 1993 as a tax clerk to now as the Winneshiek County Treasurer, I can't express how grateful I am for the 32 years I have worked for Winneshiek County. Though I will be sad to depart, I'm eager for the opportunity to spend more time with my family and for the chance to travel. So.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's crazy how fast that 32 years went. It's just unreal. So just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So that leaves me as the long timer.
Okay.
After January 3rd, yeah.
Is it your 23rd?
Yeah, I'll be the longest.
We figured
building
out
after
usually
CWE.
with payroll to
Yeah.
to do it till Friday, so still 60 days. There is plenty of time for anything that I need to teach anybody or anything. And as far as my office, there's a lot of longevity there, and there's more than one person that can take that job, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You got a couple updates, Ben, and watching.
Well, I was just saying that, so next week I'll put on the agenda, you'll have to talk about whether you want to appoint someone until the next election or go to a special election or elect someone, so your two options, and even if you appoint someone, you can be petitioned to go to a special election anyway. So,
You're right in the mode right now.
yeah, we already have special elections scheduled in December and March, so. So, you know.
Just leave everything set up then?
Yeah, no, it doesn't work quite like that. Yeah.
So if we wanted to do it, but like the March one, could a person?
I think you,
piggyback on that one or not? Or you gotta be somebody.
I'll have to look at the timing, because I think you'll have to, depending on when the timing is, you may have to do it sooner, because you can't wait too long.
But if we appointed somebody for a few months, just to.
If you appoint someone and then give a petition, that would likely be when it would end up.
Otherwise, could you do the one you said in December?
And again, I'd have to look at the timing. I
Might
don't,
be too soon.
that might be too soon. Because they've already filed for that.
That's like December.
10th.
Yeah, so that's, yeah.
And I don't think there's any reason not to at least try to appoint someone, and then if the public wants to petition, I mean, that's usually the procedure you use to pass, but it's up to the public if they don't like who you appoint to petition.
So if we appointed someone, that would be basically 2 years.
Basically 2 years, yeah. Unless you call some other county-wide election for some other reason in the meantime. There was like you decide to do a bond issue to do some road money, and then that would go countywide, then that would trigger any existing vacancies that were appointed to also have to go onto that ballot.
Would we, if we wanted to appoint somebody, and it was somebody, do we just ask people to submit a letter of interest?
Yeah, I would talk with Andy to make sure you have all your ducks in a row, but when we did, like when Wayne retired, which was a similar situation, and back when we did Dan Marks, that was what when he was appointed, that basically you asked for letters of interest and did interviews and appointed someone.
And it wouldn't have to be somebody from within the office either.
No. you want to go back to 1984, when the previous treasurer, anyway, that whole backstory, there wasn't really anybody left in the office, so they had to appoint someone from outside the office. So I told you about the possible non-citizens who have DOT records that show they aren't citizens, but were registered to vote. So that has been, in the last week, has been really stressful because it's been a court case, and I provided information to Andy, who then provided to our ICAP attorney, who sat in on the hearing that was on Friday. But actually the counties, none of the counties representation, the ones ICAP was representing or the others, said anything during the hearing, because really it was a case between the people and Paul Pate, because he's the one directing so it was responded, all the response was provided by the Attorney General, because that's who represents the Secretary of State. So as of yesterday, last evening, the judge issued a denial for the temporary restraining order. So our instruction is to just keep proceeding the way we were instructed to from the Secretary of State at this point. I have no idea if there will be more lawsuit or not pertaining to that. So that's that.
What does it implications for the people that were given that notice in our county?
So we've had 3 of those people vote. 2 of them have provided their information, so their ballots are going to get cast normally anyway, going to get counted normally. And the 3rd one was named in the lawsuit, and as part of the judgment, any of the named plaintiffs in the lawsuit were automatically cleared to get counted. So the 3 we have will all be counted as of this point. We have 6 others on our list that we'll check today if they vote, or tomorrow at the polls. Each polling site will have a list for their specific polling site, and they'll be asked to either present their citizenship information at the polls to cast a regular ballot, or they'll have to cast a provisional ballot and then have till next Tuesday at noon to come in with their papers to get their ballot counted. So it could be U.S. passport or certificate of naturalization if they become a citizen. If they were born here but for some reason got on this list for a different reason, they could present their U.S. birth certificate, a certificate of birth abroad if they were born in another country but to U.S. citizens, and that would work. So we'll see how it works. The 3 we've had were all naturalized people who weren't born here but have become citizens through the process, and so those 3 are all been taken care of.
So the basic message to the public is there is no fraud there. There's no white.
There's no fraud, at least for ours. We only have 9, but other counties have way more. Anyway, we're just dealing with that. As far as numbers, we are, I think 2020, we had almost 9,000 absentee ballots, but there was a big push statewide to do ballots by mail during COVID. So that's kind of an anomalous year. Before that, we usually were between 6,000 and 7,000 absentee ballots for most presidential elections. We've already surpassed that. So I don't know if we'll hit 9,000 like we did in COVID, but it might be close. Today, there's been a line the whole day, so it just depends.
15,500 roughly.
We've got about 15,000 registered voters, including active and inactive voters. From a voter standpoint, that designation doesn't make a difference, but it just shows those are people who haven't voted for the last 2 years. So there are some of the inactive voters that maybe have moved away and just haven't, that's why they haven't been participating for 2 years. But so I don't think it's an accurate number to say there are 15,000 that actually could vote, but that's what the list we have is to use.
Oh, yeah, that's that.
I didn't hear the final number. Saturday was actually the slowest of our voting days. We only had a couple hundred between 2 and 250, but at the same time, it's the only day a lot of those people could come. So it's important to have that anyway, even if it isn't quite as busy. But we had over 500 on Friday, and I would imagine we'll have close to that again today. Usually the day before is usually the busiest, so.
As far as that 15,000 goes, I've been going over my own district pretty with a fine tooth comb. And most of them are adult children in families that no longer live here.
Yeah.
And I just need to update their
The
records.
inactive ones, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the next item on the agenda is Michael Kueny, our county engineer. You, the other folks, and other little, good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Okay, we'll share.
All right, so just going through the report that I sent earlier this morning. Bridge 5, 1/4 of the approach was poured 2 weeks ago. All the pavement has been poured today. They are working on the longitudinal grooving, and when you see concrete pavement, so what you go on Locust Road, it's the shaping of the concrete so that everything works with the tires and it gives it a smoother ride just along the path of travel. And then it roughens it up so you don't have the so it's not slick. So we'll be doing a longitudinal grooving, and if you've seen Money Pit, will hopefully be done in 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Just the joke around the office. Bridge 208E. Check plans have been submitted. My intent is to send final plans out today. We'll see about that. W14, River City Crew continue operations on Bridgeway to Spillville. They got the intermediate lift done. They'll be working on the surface lift. Up to 3 pavers are working at any given time. River City is moving their crews around different places throughout the county. So they're doing the best that they can to finish. Fort Atkinson work was done by Brunings. Concrete curb and gutter work is to occur this week. And then if you want to be on the email list for news on that, you can do that at engineer.co.winneshiek.ia.us. Subdivision data, that's an ongoing thing. I'm looking to do that as time sees fit. Union negotiations, I have heard nothing this week. FEMA, I sent a resolution to everyone here just now. We have a UEI number, and they don't have all the information on that, but the UEI number we had before is the number that allows us to get into these grants and these FEMA requests. We had it issued as a county as a whole, so conservation, whomever in the county would always go to this one number. The request from the Homeland Security is that we have our own. Each department should be getting their own. The issue that we have is we're requesting information from the treasurer's office that is we're not supposed to have, and that's kind of the point of this resolution. And so we need to get those documents to the Homeland Security to.
Basically, this is a resolution saying, allowing the engineer's office to use our county EI number. So they can
UEI stand for.
unique entity identification.
Yes.
Thank you.
It's a number basically that says, it's like a social security number, exactly, for
Well, the only problem is that the county we have a federal tax ID number that is tied to this UEI number, and they won't get a separate tax ID number. That's not allowed.
This is something I don't know about, so.
So we'll have to, that's why we're just gonna ask them to use the county one for now, because we don't know how this process is gonna play out for each department to get their own. I mean, we need to have one federal tax ID number for the whole county, because we're paying all of the employees as one employer. We can't have every department being a separate employer or something. That just doesn't work. So we have to figure out how that works with FEMA's.
Yes, the request, so the request on this is to use for this round, this $145,000 that we're looking at is to use the current one to the whole county this time, but we are still looking to get all of the information and
Set up
for a future so that we can do something only through the secondary roads. So it's kind of a lot of paperwork for.
We can't pass this.
Yeah.
It's not on the agenda.
We can change the resolution to resolve next week.
I think that would be better.
So.
We'll just make sure it's on the agenda
Yes.
for next week, and then we'll just change that date.
We'll change the date and perfect. Bridgeway shop improvements, most of the improvements are constructed as we speak. We're looking at putting up wall installation and the boiler installation. Quotes for a roof work are going to be procured for next week. The SS4A, we submitted information, deadline was on November 1st. Otherwise, it's the same as before. Shouldering operations on Big Canoe Road and Locust Road occurred last week. They're occurring again today. Big Canoe Road is finished, and then positive feedback received on the creek and the shouldering rig. So
Children very working.
I've heard good things. I was nervous myself. I talked to Fillmore County. They said good things about it, and it's been consistent with our guys. So
this is a piece of equipment we've had for a while, but have never used. Is that
Right.
right?
2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, we got it.
Didn't fit the dump trucks originally.
Come out of Illinois or something.
Okay.
So-
Indiana at one point.
So yeah, that's, I don't want to say surprised, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did.
They needed shouldering. That's
Yeah, it was-
huge safety.
On Locust Road particularly was as busy as it is. So
There's good 6 inches some places you get one up.
They-
Drop off.
they disked some of the material back, so, but we should have 2 feet of extra shoulder everywhere, at a minimum. So there's, and just in time for winter. The ICEA Grants Committee went forward with the submittal for the federal raise grant that I had talked about last week. The Winneshiek County portion is the W14 south of Fort Atkinson was included in that submittal. That is the engineer's report. One thing we have on the agenda is to request the board to purchase the John Deere loader for the secondary roads department. The price for the John Deere with trade-in is $221,400. And the price for the cat equipment was $241,000. It's a difference of almost $20,000. We have other John Deere loaders that operate well for us, so it's not a use issue. So therefore, our price was where we were looking.
Is that 221,400?
21,400 for the John Deere, and then 241,000 for the bud. And Jared Bethel and Ziegler Cat is here, and Sean and Ramler with Martin equipment from Dubuque is here to discuss their equipment. If you'd like to hear from them.
When you can start.
Yeah, so I bid the 938 wheel loader. So this is our latest and greatest wheel loader. So this is a steering wheel loader. A little different than what we've had in the past. It's a hydrostatic transmission. You can run that transmission in multiple different settings. So you can have torque converter mode, you can have high stat mode, you can have ice. So there's a bunch of different traction modes that end up having in this machine. And then, we have, auto locking differentials on the 938. We have auto idle. We have machine turn off. It's as far as small wheel loaders, I would say it's probably one of the premier small wheel loader that we have out there, based on our engine, transmission, cab, lift capacity, all that. So.
Sean Ramler with Martin Equipment. 624P is our latest model wheel loader that I quoted. It's got a lot of the same options. It has a power shift transmission versus a hydrostat. You guys have two of them, 624L and a 624P. I think the first one was 4 years ago. You've had 0 warranty claims on either of the two loaders in your time of having them. I think the guys really like them. Very good, durable. They have auto shutdown, they have auto idle. 203 horsepower. I mean, they're good loaders.
What does do the maintenance or crew people say?
As far as what I've heard, just from the maintenance equipment from our shop, the cat or the Maaten or the John Deere are just fine. We should be going on price was the suggestion, because we've had good luck with both pieces of equipment. And I mean, this was I didn't, to be quite frank, I didn't spend a lot of time on this because the prices came in, and that was the suggestion to me by my maintenance shop. So that's kind of where I'm at on this. So
Just about 8% difference.
yes, and I mean it's it's just been putting my head towards other things. So don't have
So your recommendation is?
my recommendation is to follow price on this purely, and that's not a suggestion that one's better than the other. It's just purely a responsibility. Yep. So that's where I'm recommending.
Someone would like to take action.
I move to approve the John Deere loader. At $221,400.
Second.
I'll second that.
All right, we have a motion and a second to purchase a John Deere loader for $221,400. Is there any further discussion?
This was in the budget for this year.
Yes, yes, this is,
Okay, call it to vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion carries unanimous.
Is there are we getting rid of a loader or just?
yes, this was, those quotes were with the trade-ins. Yes, sorry, I said that. This- too quick.
When will this piece arrive?
So cats would have arrived as soon as we had funds in the secondary road fund. Had not worked with Sean on when this could arrive or should arrive. Right now I have tentatively scheduled to pay in February, but that has not been coordinated.
Build date of the machine is January, around the 15th of January. Is when it will be built. And regardless if the funds aren't there, we always do the 30-day. You're getting the money of 15th of February, do Bill County 30 days. Don't have to, you know.
Appreciate you both coming in.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Yeah. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll be in touch.
Thank you, Sean.
Yep, thank you.
Anything else for us, Mike?
Rain gravel.
Yeah, there
Winter.
we had a little bit of overtime on the gravels last week. With the time change, I don't know if that's going to continue. I might not be here later in the week. I have a family requirement down in Missouri, perhaps. So, well, I don't know because everything happened yesterday. So, just FYI. So,
Football as well.
this could be expected.
Thank you.
Let's see, consent agenda?
We have the reporters, monthly report and the minutes.
I'd move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Community Services Building update.
We'll have a
With
meeting Thursday with DHS. Thursday at 11.
Who's doing that meeting?
Me and John. They've been short an IT person and they keep using that for an excuse and finally it's, yeah,
I think this looks like it's gonna all come together.
come together now, so.
There's a second signature on that recorder.
Yeah, that'd be Thursday at 11. Hopefully have some news next week.
The committee reports.
Policy board Thursday, we did nothing. They're going to kind of put a deal together on the solar or costs or some of the solar related issues that came up at the meeting and try to put a little something together in case there's nonprofits. I know Elmakee County, I think they have a lot of, they're pushing that over there. So some people didn't know how it all works. So they're trying to put some information together on the solar deal for them. So 'cause I think almost majority of Elmwood County is getting some due to the power plant down there. I'm not sure what the whole detail is, but I think most of Elmwood County, anybody can out in the countryside, I think
grants for
some grants and like the nonprofit churches and stuff, they didn't know how that all works, so. Michelle's gonna try and find some information out, put it together, a packet for these nonprofits and stuff, and I don't know if it carries into Winneshiek, I'm not. I had heard too earlier in the year that it was due to the power plant, Elmwood County was gonna get some kind of extra special grant help on putting in solar. And I see I've talked to Dan still over at Postman, he said they've been writing piles and doing lots and lots of grants. That was this fall. He said they've been
Yeah, I know
swamped with
several
grants.
people within Winneshiek County here that received
Yeah.
grants for solar on their
Yeah.
personal property.
Yeah, I noticed there's a lot of going on.
Northeast Iowa Workforce Development Board on last Thursday. Just kind of a routine quarterly meeting, nothing to speak of, other than trying to get through a lot of red tape and bureaucracy.
Judicial meeting on Friday.
Thank you.
And next Wednesday will be just FYI, next Wednesday, the canvas. Because of the holiday on Monday, your normal board meeting is Tuesday, and then the canvas is Wednesday at 9:30. I know Shirley said she wouldn't be able to be here. I just need to make sure we have 3. I'll be there.
I can't be.
Oh,
They know.
yeah.
Oh.
Okay.
I've been-
Whoever's here, yeah, whoever's here
Okay.
next Wednesday at 9:30 will be that.
If there are 3 others, that's fine.
Yeah.
What I do have is Northeast Iowa Community Actions October dashboard report, and I have extras over there if you'd like them. Once again, they're just really doing such a good job at serving this community and families in the community with $20,000 worth of assistance to help households avoid eviction, reconnection, or maintain utility service. 11,000 pounds of food was distributed in October through their food pantry. But they're just, they just keep performing so well, and we're so lucky to have that organization in our region. So if you ever need a place to put some funds for giving, they sure could use the support.
Move on to the miscellaneous. First of all, we have recycling supervisor hiring, update, possible action. No,
Well, our hiring committee met and we interviewed 3 individuals and offered it to one who has accepted. So I look for action today to approve Evan Neubauer hire for that position.
I move that we hire Evan Neubauer as the recycling manager.
Second it.
the motion is second, hire Evan Neubauer as our new recycling supervisor. Is there any further discussion?
You know a start date yet? Or are you still working that out?
We're gonna have to work that out based on our current supervisor will be there till I think it's his last day of January. So we'll have to make a decision. Finally, we want to bring him in and how that would work financially.
We want to recommend,
Position-wise.
we recommend that we bring him as early as he is available on an interim basis so that we have, proper time for transition.
He's currently working with recycling through conservation. And so he has already visited with his supervisors there, and so he's excited about taking the job.
So it was like December 1st or something, I think I could.
Yeah, whatever he's going to be,
Something
as soon as
for him.
he's going to fulfill the responsibilities that he's taken on at conservation on education and things of that nature. So he's not leaving them in lurch. And
He does have several commitments, and I said we could potentially, obviously, overlap.
but he brings as many of you already know, he brings a lot to the table as knowing our systems and having been involved with the landfill to such a degree. And he's he's a good communicator. Probably one of the better interviews that we have seen when we interviewed him in the committee.
By far.
Yeah.
All right, we have that motion. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimous. Next up, recycling glass.
Yeah, you may want to.
We have one other thing on recycling I think we probably want to discuss. We did have, one of the existing employees out there was serving as an interim director and fulfilling some of the duties of the manager, certainly not able to fill all of them because that's the manager's full responsibility. But I think it's only fair that we offer some retroactive compensation for the additional work that she's done above the work that she would normally do in that position.
And put that on the agenda Monday.
But we've got
Got it on.
that on here.
Where?
Update
It's part
and
of
possible
the
action
recycling supervisor.
hiring.
That says recycling supervisor.
Well, she is the acting supervisor as we are talking today until we have the other one. So I think we ought to give a percentage of the difference between the two jobs as being some kind of a fair compensation.
Maybe come up with a figure for next week.
But I would rather have it on next week's and make it
Yeah.
retroactive, dating back.
That would be, I think that's
Come up with
perfectly
that.
fine. I think we need
You
to,
gave us some numbers, but
yeah,
maybe come
I
up
think
with
we
a
need to do
definite-
something though, because I think that's only fair.
And until,
But-
it'll be until our current supervisor returns to work on that.
Yeah, I do want to make it clear, in my mind, this is a one-off type scenario, and we're not creating a precedent. Because in this case, we thrust another employee in because of a medical leave, and we're not establishing it like, Joe from such and such department is on vacation, and so there for 2 weeks or whatever. No, that's not what we're gonna do. And on a go-forward basis, I'd recommend that anything like that, if it ever occur in the future, it's a one-off approval by the board.
So on Tuesday's agenda.
Now we'll move on to that recycling glass hauling. Options and possible action.
Well, we have looked into and actually had a conversation with an organization that would potentially do glass hauling. They would come pick it up. Whether they could give us anything for it depends upon what the hauling costs end up being. For that, they're certainly interested in looking into that. I know currently we are getting paid a certain dollar amount from solid waste, but I don't know that that's going to continue in the future. Right now, we are paying hauling costs to haul it out to the landfill. So really, it's kind of a wash probably when it's all said and done.
You have a contract with Reliable Dumpster to haul it right now, and so if you're thinking about changing it, you need action to cancel that contract.
Yeah, the contract in review says that it's valid through the end of the year, which is fine. I think we do need to make some adjustments in just the way that we handle it, because we're hauling a lot of air and not hauling a full bins out there by any means. The volume is low enough in glass recycling that instead of 2 trips a month, it's reasonable that we could make it in 1 trip a month.
I mean, if we're starting it anyway, you might as well
Yeah,
let somebody pick it up.
well, and we,
Don't have
I think
to
if-
pay us not to skip it.
But yeah, it keeps it out of landfill.
Yeah.
Besides,
Yeah.
we were using it as drainage, but the animal that's using for that purpose.
I think,
Yeah.
I think too, and in the future, I believe that we'll end up with more glass recycling when people realize that we really do have a need for it. In the conversation that we had with that potential vendor, I mean, if you ever happen to see that brand of Knopf insulation in the home goods stores, which says the eco-friendly model, 30% of that insulation is made from recycled glass. And so if you look at some of it, it's just pure white and snowy. And that's just made out of all fresh raw material. but the recycle puts it in because the company that we talked to has some very sophisticated sorting methods with optical scanners and so forth that separate out the various colors. Part of it goes back to the bottling industry, part of it goes elsewhere, part of it goes into insulation. And so they're sorting it down to a 1/4 inch size by color. And so all of that is keeping it out of the landfill and extending our life out there. And we've got a lot of glass that goes to the landfill. If we had if we encourage more glass recycling and accommodated that, I think we'd even do better than the, maybe 12 trips, 12 loads a year in reality that we send to the landfill. Maybe we could double that.
Most of their glass this company recycles is consumed relatively nearby. And usually in a matter of weeks, it's back into the system as another product. So it's interesting. Yeah.
End of year contract, does that mean end of calendar year or end of our fiscal year?
So it's only 2 more, basically 2 more months.
I do want action on this.
I think we can reasonably, in these few trips that we're making, we have the trucks, we have the containers. We're exploring another option. I think we can easily make those trips and avoid, the other trips that we are unnecessarily making. I mean, you hear from the landfill director, a load comes out 1/3 full or 1/2 full, and we don't need to be hauling air and traveling out there.
We make a motion today to just eliminate reliable and then keep our options open. What we want to do, make a motion today, just to end their contract at January 1, and then
look forward to see what our new manager has to say. I think that's valid.
well, that's what I
Would we have to end it, or we just won't renew the contract?
Yeah, we just have to give notice that we're not going to renew it, I think is the language is sent out.
Yeah, I think it automatically renews annually unless one side gives notice. So yeah.
So we'll have to have Andy look into that.
Yeah, I'd recommend that we move forward with that and bring it in-house.
Is that your motion?
That would be my motion.
I second it.
The motion is second. Cut ties with reliable or glass only, effective January 1. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carries unanimously.
I just got a question.
Sure.
Does this mean that everybody here should start collecting more glass and delivering it out to the,
That would be fine.
I mean, so now we have a viable opportunity.
we haven't officially signed on with this company yet. So for now, it's the same as it is. We just take it to the landfill.
So have it out there at okay, but we can take it to the facility at Freeport now where they collect.
Yeah.
Continue doing that.
Great, yeah.
Yeah, all of that, I think what our new director will do will be encourage the public and educate more that we do have other options for glass where for a long time that didn't exist.
Yeah, get something out in the paper.
So it's a plus,
Very much.
It's all about saving that landfill, giving
Yeah,
that landfill more time.
And the new recycling supervisor was stated that he's going to look for different avenues for a lot of the products.
We have one other, I've been pursuing some rough estimates on cleaning the heating out there, which is in dire need of maintenance and heat for the winter season coming. So it's not a big expense and it'll fit within their budget. So either one of 2 contractors will be available. I think we need to do that just simply for the sake of our employees out there.
Safety.
And they need to be checked for safety. We certainly don't need a fire hazard out there.
All right, next up, the food pantry lease.
This was finalized and I think they approved it verbally, but they haven't signed it yet. But if you get it signed, then when I actually talked to Stephen he came in to vote, so he said he would be getting back to me to take care of the signature sometime soon. But if you get it approved, then all we need is to get his signature.
Did we ever get that worked out with the electricity they're using on their coolers? as compared to the rent and what they're gonna pay.
And that's stipulated in the lease agreement that if there is a. Wow, there's a word. Who can show just cause for having to raise it based on usage and things like that, that they're willing to renegotiate the amount.
And we did install a meter out there.
And the big thing that Matt said that when they replace them, they do top open freezers instead of the front, because they're so inefficient than front sliding door freezers, he said, when they can get. Now, I told him to apply for the grant out at landfill grant, it's what, 62 or 4, whatever it is. I said, apply for that because nobody else in Winneshiek County did the last 2 years. So you can buy a freezer or 2 a year and update them. It'd save us money, saves the landfill, you know, they keep what, 300 and some thousand pounds of food out of the landfill a year.
230,000.
It's 300 and some, so that's huge. I told them to apply for it, so hopefully they do. They can get some freezers and save us money and look for the, be a win-win for everybody.
So we need a motion to approve that, please.
That's a move.
We have a motion and a second to approve the food pantry lease. All those in favor? Pardon?
What is the lease? What is the monthly?
$2,050 per month, with an increase of $50 per month each year.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? This is unanimous. Andy, are you on this morning?
I am.
Okay. Looks like we're gonna have to end our contract with Reliable for glass hauling at the end of the year.
Not really.
Or just not renew it.
Yeah, Ben, yeah, I think you sent me the current lease on that, so I'll put that notice together.
And then we may need some help with the how we should handle a appointment for new county treasurer. Brenda is retiring as of January 3rd.
Okay.
I'm gonna plan to put on the agenda for next week, Andy, for them to discuss if they want to do an appointment or go to straight to a special election, and depending on what they decide, well, they'll probably need some help with whatever paperwork, public notices or whatever need to be published to accomplish that.
I will dig out my notes from when Wayne retired,
Perfect.
because I think we did the same thing at that time, or
Yep.
had the same issues anyway.
Do you have anything for us, Andy?
No, Shirley will ask about uploading videos, so I'll head that off a minute. I did send the proposed policy out to Ben and to John. Ben's given me some feedback. We've made a few changes. I'm waiting to get John's approval or suggestions if he has some. And hopefully I hear back from him in a day or two, and maybe I can get that out to you for discussion and possible approval next Monday.
Great.
Does anyone have anything else for Andy?
I think we're meeting Tuesday, Andy.
All right, thank you.
All right, thanks.
I guess we move for adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion and second for adjournment. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Meeting is now adjourned.
Now we have to remote.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I'll be converting this to voting, but it'll be a little bit yet, because IT is gonna come down and do all the electronic stuff before I start moving cables and so on. So, yeah, I don't want to get in trouble there. So I'll come back in an hour or two to actually start. So if you need to work at your desks or something, that's fine.
Sure, we.
All of it.
Of course.
I'll let her know.
That's it. It's like, it's not a fun job. And so it's like, okay, whoever has to get.
For the white bits.
I'll get all my stuff in a second.
It was a friend of mine that gave it to me as a souvenir.
When I put these back in, we're gonna try to turn on this. They have these things to connect it. Two ends, you just,
Oh,
well, they're putting in the trailer.
I did, yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
in the meantime, but I'm not gonna do any of that until so the IT does their stuff. Well, it really has to do.
You guys cleaned up. It was me. Yeah, yeah, that was me.
Wheels are turning in your head. So I can see.
As soon as we can. Transition.
Not sure how much more I can fit in.
Yeah, I think he's.
What?
Six more.
Probably need a dozen or so.
To get in here.
Yeah, so if you wanna put the others in, that'd be great.
Yeah, that's a year. There's right up in there somewhere.
Just want a copy of that or just get that?
Yeah, thank you.
Really? Very well. So good. Still and big.
See you. Good luck with the check marks.
No, he wants about a dozen left.
Oh, okay.
But thanks.
Thank you. Thinking about you, like, you know, students. Okay. She's so sweet.
Goodbye. Thank you for working.
Uh-huh.
Oh.
Really work, really.
Yeah. Your wife getting better then?
Speaker, those two out. This one with stuff on it.
Oh, yeah, they back of the trailer?
Yeah, it's right out here.
Okay.
Oh.
I'm gonna make sure it's this bend. I have to bring my key for the trailer.
Yeah.
Hold the door open.
Have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye,
couple
Pat.
days here and I'll be able to relax a little bit.
Life will be so boring in 2 more days.
Oh, man, you did. Well, I'll probably have to send you an email because I'm assuming you don't know the salary that one's gonna have as soon as it gets in. I'll shoot you.
Yeah.
Yep. Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, it's like
Hey, Ben.
58,000 something, but I would rather look it up.
Ben?
And there's no hurry on it. It's not urgent either, but you get to it when you get to it.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's about when they're done, so anytime you want to come down and start on booking stuff.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
put the chore stuff in here.
I'm gonna shut down